What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. Now you guys can probably already tell that it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely going to want to check this one out. So apparently Congresswoman Ilhan Omar did a sit-down interview with MSNBC on the man that attacked her at her latest town hall event. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I believe it proves everything that we initially suspected, and I'm excited to get into it. So we're gonna hop straight into it. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's scoop.
Congressman, it's good to see you.
Yes, good to see you. Welcome to Minneapolis.
How are you doing after last night?
I'm doing okay.
Can you take us through what happened in your head at that moment?
Yeah, I mean, I arrived at my town hall just a little after it started. And I got on the podium to introduce local reps who usually come to my town hall to give local updates. You know, as you know, we do monthly town halls.
You do one every month,
One every
right?
month
Yeah.
since I've been elected. And then, you know, I went into my own updates of what has been happening. And I remember seeing someone say something close. I was reading, so I wasn't like
looking,
you know,
out,
at that moment. I remember feeling like someone was saying something close to me, and I looked up, and there was a man plunging towards me. And there was like some liquid thing that I, at the moment, thought it was like a spit. And so I, you know, instinctively tried to like punch him basically for trying to spit on me.
You thought he was spitting on you?
Yes, because there's some liquid that hit my folder and the podium. And then I could feel maybe something.
So you thought a guy had come up and spit at you?
That's what I thought. And then I heard,
Which
yes.
is why you did this.
Well, I mean, that was, you know, I was raised with three brothers who are older than me. And so, you know, you learn that maybe taking the first punch when somebody is bigger than you yields you better results.
You, obviously, security tackled him. It looks like he...
I wasn't able to make contact with him.
You did not, yes. Although that image has gotten everywhere today.
Yeah, he was saved by the security.
He was saved by the security.
Yeah.
All right, folks. So it's very clear that Ilhan Omar is enjoying this spotlight. I'm not buying this tough act that she's putting on whatsoever. This is more political theater on her part. I mean, this man came at her and it seems like she was completely unfazed. She didn't know what she was getting squirted with, but somehow she's the hero in this situation. This is exactly what she wanted. And then next up, you're going to see her attempt to blame President Donald Trump for everything that has happened to her, attempting to say that he's gaslighting the people, but it's honestly her.
I guess my question to you is, you have been the subject of endless and basically constant threats, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in your time in public life, the president eggs them on. He clearly paints a target at you. After this happened, he said she probably set it up. It was a false flag, like she set it up to do to herself. Have you acclimated to this to a degree, or is there some part of you that still feels freaked out when something like that happens?
You know what? I understand this all to be is an intimidation tactic. Whether it is the president's deranged rants, attacking me, my family, and my community, or whether it is, you know, this deranged person showing up, trying to assault me, is that they want to intimidate me from public life. And I am not one to be intimidated. And, you know, I could hear people saying there were liquids and all of this, but I wasn't feeling an impact, and nobody around me seemed to be feeling an impact. So my first instinct was to say, you know, let's not give him what he wanted, which was for us to run, for me to be cleared out of the room, for our town hall and my ability to perform the duties in which I was elected by my constituents to do. And so regardless of what, you know, what that was, if it wasn't hindering me at that moment, it was my duty to continue to do my job. And I know that the president is trying to gaslight us, but that's not surprising because, this is a government that came out and said, Alex was brandishing a gun. When, we know that's not what happened in all the videos that we have seen. So they're basically trying to tell us not to believe our own eyes. We saw them shoot Renee Good point blank in the head. And they told us that she was trying to hit the officers and that she was some sort of domestic terrorist. When in the video it says, dude, I'm not mad at you, right? Like that's the most cool thing that you can say to someone.
Yes.
To de-escalate anything. And they told us that the car was going towards them when you can clearly see that she's trying to maneuver the car around them. And so it is very clear that we cannot trust a single word that comes out of President Trump's mouth and the rest of his administration. They continuously lie. We know that the search that they have here, this occupation that they have created by DHS agents, even though they told us it was to crack down on, undocumented people who are violent criminals, worst of the worst, we've seen them break into the cars of innocent people. That young woman who's like, I'm disabled, I'm trying to make it to my doctor's appointment. Or whether it's the young man in Cedar Riverside who's on a lunch break and is trying to tell them, I have my passport with me, I have my documents, I'm a US citizen. Or whether it is, family that is just trying to pick up their, young child from childcare, which is what we saw with Liam and his dad in Columbia Heights, which is also in my district. They are not going after the worst of the worst. They are terrorizing us. And that is essentially because this is about retribution. This is about the fact that we didn't vote for him. This is the fact that we are a community that is strong, that is resilient, that is strong, that shows the best of America.
Out of all of what Ilhan Omar just said, I believe one thing is true. She did not let this man affect her ability to perform. She said it multiple times throughout that clip. The show must go on. We can't let this guy stop our show. And that's what she planned to do. This is political theater at its finest. She continues to blame President Donald Trump, saying that he's to blame for the current state that politics is in right now throughout our country. But honestly, we could blame and attribute most of that tension to these folks on the left that constantly demonize every single move that President Donald Trump has made. And I think I'm going to come out and just do it. I'm going to debunk everything that she said, all her claims, with this one clip. It's going to prove to you that the left is lying. They're trying to gaslight us. She's saying that President Donald Trump is gaslighting, but I believe it's quite the opposite. This is Projection 101.
This is a moment the news movement filmed on January 13th in Minneapolis, showing a man who appears to be Alex Preddy interacting with federal immigration agents 11 days before Border Patrol shot and killed him. Our footage was analyzed by the BBC, whose facial recognition technology confirmed his identity to a 97% degree of accuracy.
And what did I tell you guys? I believe that one clip right there discredits everything that the left has been claiming throughout this entire situation. You can see they continue to say these folks, this is supposed to be the peaceful Alex Preddy 1 week before tragedy unfolded, but you can see the way that he was coming after and attacking ICE agents, Border Patrol in the streets of Minnesota. We cannot continue to allow these folks to say that the right is gaslighting while they're actively gaslighting people, attempting to rewrite the narrative right before our very eyes. But I want to hop back into what's going on, the Ilhan Omar interview. Next up, she attempts to claim that folks are no longer visiting the malls in Minnesota. These are illegal residents avoiding malls because they're scared of being attacked by ICE agents. It's not the truth. We all know what's really going on there. They're not supposed to be here. They either committed fraud or they're not supposed to be in this country.
We're in a mall right now that's Somali American Mall, and there's a bunch of shops. And a bunch of people have told me that you'd normally be incredibly busy here, that all the shop stalls would be open. Yeah. A lot of them are closed, and that's because this intimidation is basically keeping people who are lawful citizens or even U.S. citizens in their house for fear of what? Well, I mean, what do people tell you about why they're not leaving?
Yeah, I mean, you have to remember that the communities that he has chosen to target here, whether it is Somalis who survived war, whether it is Hmong who survived war, whether it is Burmese who survived war and execution, whether it is Ethiopians, Eritreans who survived war. The community here, or Latino Americans, the immigrant community in Minnesota are people who have fled terror, who have fled oppressive regimes. Right. These are people who have been subjected to so much. You know, I was having a conversation just with someone who came from Nicaragua 40 years ago. And he said, you know, he and his family, even though they've been a citizen of this country, feel scared to go outside the door. And I said to him, you know, let's connect as people who, you know, because he was like, I grew up under a dictatorship. And I said, let's connect on that, because what do dictatorships produce? They produce fear.
Right.
They produce intimidation, and they produce for people to eventually self-isolate because they do not want to be disappeared, they do not want to be manhandled, and they do not want to be jailed. And so this is a community that is reacting to that trauma. Right. So even though they are citizens,
decades and generations,
right? Even though they're citizens, even though their children are born in the U.S., their children are born to those stories and to that trauma, and so they're telling themselves and their children, like, I don't want to get pulled over, right? I don't like. Right. How can you subject yourself to that? And so they are reflexively going back to that period of time, because that's what this looks like to them.
Can we just be honest for 1 second about this whole situation? The reason why the malls are empty is because folks are not trying to get sent back, deported to their home country. I mean, everyone who is a legal, law-abiding citizen is not worried. ICE is the last thing on their mind. But again, more gaslighting and rewrite the narrative coming from Ilhan Omar. And I believe this last bit shows precisely the motive of Ilhan Omar behind this attack, shows her theatrics for what it truly is, as she wanted to use this as the national stage for her to have the spotlight on her so she could continuously call for Kristi Noem and Stephen Miller to be impeached and arrested. It's not going to happen.
Final question for you, and I know that you have to go. You were calling for Kristi Noem to resign when you were assaulted last night. Do you think Kristi Noem should resign? Do you think Stephen Miller should be out of a job? What do you want to see happen?
Yeah, I mean, definitely Kristi Noem should resign. If not, as Leader Hakeem Jeffries stated, we will initiate impeachment. Nobody should ever have hired Stephen Miller, who basically is a copycat of the Nazis, and that's kind of the cruelty that he wants to inflict on people. He should definitely be out. I believe for his part in this, definitely should be prosecuted at some point. And you know, the level of cruelty also has been reflected in the man who attacked me, because he was angry in one of his social media posts that they were not picking up and deporting enough Somalis, that the photos that she was showing didn't have any Somalis in it. And so it just shows you the anger and frustration that the president has created in people by going after Somali immigrants, even though he should know, because he knows the numbers, that we are not deportable, right? And that, yes, because we are not deportable, when he's not able to produce what he promises, then you get people like this who will attack Somalis and will cause us harm. And when they say things need to be turned down, it is their rhetoric that is risking lives, that have already gotten people killed here in Minnesota, that is producing political violence, and they are creating the domestic terrorists that they speak about because they are acting like domestic terrorists.
Yo, there we have it, guys. Oh my goodness, right there. Even more projection coming from Ilhan Omar. She says it is the right that needs to tone down the very inflammatory rhetoric, but does she not hear herself talk? She literally just labeled Stephen Miller as a copycat Nazi, but she thinks that's helping towards the rising tensions in politics. It doesn't help whatsoever, and good luck on your mission, Ilhan. I see you're trying to get what you want, but this isn't going to work out. You know, you targeting Stephen Miller, Kristi Noem, two folks who are doing their jobs, and might I say, doing it quite well. You know, getting things done, as opposed to what we've seen with the last administration. These folks ought to be applauding and cheering on the Trump administration for the great work that they've been able to conduct over the past year. I mean, it's very refreshing to see a shift, actual leadership taking charge and making America great again. I'm so tired of these folks who constantly bash the Trump administration, constantly bash America, but then they say that they want to stay in this country. They love it so much. It just doesn't make sense. It's a double negative every single time. I'll continue to follow this one. You know, any updates to come. I'm sure Ilhan Omar is not done with her press tour. This is just the beginning, and we can see, I think this, you know, points towards the signs of this was staged in order for her to gain national attention, get into the headlines, get into the media, so folks are focusing on her so she can get this message out about Kristi Noem and Stephen Miller. It's not going to work. We're not buying it, guys. But I want you guys now to hop in the comment section. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Are you buying this whole story that Ilhan Omar is now selling us, or are you not buying it either? I don't know if I get on board with it. I mean, I don't want any type of violence or political violence. We don't condone that, but this is definitely not the way to do it. I feel like she has set this whole thing up in order to gain more attention. Y'all, before you get out of here, please make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd enjoy more content like this coming from your boy RetroStef, I'll catch you guys on the next week.